What's up, everybody? It's Eric Lewis, Junk GTP. So I'm finally getting back to working on my supercharger again. I went over it with a wire wheel, sanded it down. I thought about polishing it. I mean, it'll look nice, but to be honest, I just want to paint it and put it on there, you know. But what I've done so far on this, I sanded down the inlet only. I didn't port it, I just sanded it, made it smooth. So it's not perfect, but I mean, better than having all the casting marks on it. So I did that. I got rid of these circle casting marks here. This turned out pretty good. This one has a couple grooves in it, but might fill it in something or just paint it, whatever. I got the snout ready to go. I was working on this a couple days ago. So getting all the paint off all the little tiny cracks. I used aircraft stripper, paint remover. Then I was trying to sand these little circles down with my sander. So that's what they normally look like. So I figured I'd try to get rid of those. Might go over it again before I spray it. So then my next thing is to clean it, prep it, get ready for paint. Then the color I'm using, I'm kind of thinking either the VHT burnt copper to match my copper wheels I'll be putting on, or I thought about painting it the black wrinkled, maybe. But maybe if I get this painted, swap it out with my other one, and then my other supercharger, I might end up just polishing that one, unless I buy another one real cheap down the road. I bought this one for a spare for, I think it was 150 bucks or something. So, no, good deal. So, and I bought this snout separately off of a friend on Facebook. I forget who it was, but it's already machined down for a smaller pulley, and it's got the ZZP modular pulley on it. So the next step is to clean these, get them prepped for paint. So I'll do a time-lapse video for you guys and show you my process of how I'm going to paint this.
Hold it up, we gon' burn it down.
So I'm getting the supercharger ready and prepped to paint. I just went over it with a wax and grease remover. And I wiped it all off, and I ended up coming back with some sandpaper and sanded down some of the cracks. So I got all that wiped off, and I cleaned it with rubbing alcohol. Now I'm letting it get warm out in the sun for a little bit, so that way the paint can adhere to it a little better. What I'll be using is this engine primer. It's a high temp. I've used it on my other supercharger on my car now. Then I think I decided to go with the VHT burnt copper. So it'll match my wheels I got. So I'm just letting these warm up a little bit because they've been sitting in the garage, and my garage is a lot cooler than what the paint will stick to. So getting ready to lay some paint down next.
We gon' burn it down.
Okay, so I just got 2 layers of primer on the supercharger. Now it's time to let it, each coat I sprayed the first coat, real light sprinkling coat, let that dry for 15 minutes. Then I came back, sprayed a thicker coat, let that dry for 15 minutes. Then I came back again and did my second coat of primer, letting this dry for 15 minutes. So far it's turning out pretty good. Then my next step is to lay the color. I'm going to be using VHT high temperature engine paint, and it is going to be the burnt copper. It'll match my wheels I'll be putting on here sometime soon, hopefully. So stay tuned and continue to enjoy this video.
We gon' burn it down.
So here is my supercharger. I used the VHT burnt copper. And this is, I think, 4 coats. A tip, if you're going to use this paint, do very light coats, because if you spray it in one spot long enough, it'll run, and it's a metallic color. So you don't want any runs in your paint. This is what it looks like so far. So then, I'm debating if I want to put the Duplicolor clear effects on it and give it that flake color, or I might just keep it the VHT color and just put clear coat on it. So what do you guys think? Should I put clear effects on it? Okay, so I just got done painting my supercharger. I have, I think, 5 or 6 layers of paint. When you're doing this VHT engine paint, it's a metallic paint, so it'll run very easily. So I've been doing light coats. So I think I got 6 layers of coat. Then you have to try to make sure you get all these inside edges and corners and whatnot. I mean, the most major thing you're going to see is this side. You're not going to see the back side as much. But I'm still trying to get attention to detail on this. So I got the snout painted, the same thing. Do I think 6 light coats. Trying to let the paint run too much. So now I'll let this dry and figure out if I want to put a clear coat on it or not.